And there you are. You came back. Oh my God, you're going to get the best part right now. You're here in Manifesting Your Dreams with Pablo Miguel. We're talking about the principle of imagination, one of the 17 principles you want to make sure you apply in any dream you like to manifest, whether you like to change your zip code, whether you like to change your occupation, you like to provide something better for your family, or manifest the right relationship, kind of like Kim was sharing. And we're here with Kim Sinsby. Kim is actually one of the best trainers I have ever met. And a couple of decades ago, he was actually my original mentor in business. So I'm very, very grateful and excited. We have a chance to share with you some of the principles he used to manifest his dreams. So as you were, you mentioned that as you were building your business or some of your goals, you went through challenges, and you say something very interesting, that every single successful person you know have gone through a lot of challenges, but somehow they made it look easy.
That's right.
They got it done anyway, but they made it look easy. And when people met you, probably they think you're lucky or, you know, whatever, because things work out for you. But I will invite you to consider that overcoming challenges is pretty much a requirement, right?
Absolutely.
For success. So don't think things are going to go your way very easily, because you will very likely encounter challenges. And I think that's what makes the difference between people that actually manifest their dreams and the ones that have a story, right? Or an excuse. So you talk about planning, how you do it on a weekly basis, set up your outcome, then doing the work, you know, what a concept.
Yeah.
Right? And then once a week, you're disciplined enough to actually review the week, count your wins and your victories, and then see what you can do better the next week. You do it every 90 days, and you do it once a year. So that's a blueprint that anybody could follow, you know, because it really doesn't take that much time, but you need to go and do it. So I've been very impressed the business that you've been able to build over the last 2 or 3 years. You know, from what I heard, is one of the fastest growing businesses in the whole company, nationwide. So the question is, because when I look at different businesses, different opportunities and so forth, everybody has an idea, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, I have an idea. And the money is not in the idea, as we know, it's in the execution. Absolutely. Right? So other people probably had the same idea, probably had the same goal that you had, but then when you look 3 years later, right, one actually made it big time, and others, maybe they quit, or maybe they only did 10%, 20%. You mentioned the 80-20 rule. Right. So why don't you share maybe your mindset as you manifested a multi-million-dollar business, and maybe a couple of strategies that you think that make the big difference for you, so then maybe we can inspire some people to do something similar.
Sure. Thanks, Pablo. I'll be happy to. I think probably one of my greatest strengths is when I make a decision, I have the ability to focus 110%. I think the mistake that I see a lot of people make when they start any kind of project, it's kind of like they stick a toe in the water. And
they go with the flow.
That's right.
I go with the flow. I go like, oh my God, you're not going to get too far.
Absolutely. Their attitude is kind of like, okay, I'm going to give it a try. and my attitude is, it's kind of like the old Star Wars movie, right? Remember the Yoda scene, right?
Yeah.
Where he's trying to pull the spaceship out of the swamp, right?
Yes,
yes. And Yoda says to Luke Skywalker, you know, pull this out. And he says, I'll give it a try. I'm paraphrasing here, right?
Yes, I'm trying.
And Yoda says, Master Luke, there is no try. Either you do or you do not.
Either you do or you do not.
Yeah, and people have all, I mean, that quote has been all over social media, so there's nothing new.
But you're applying it, which is a big difference, right?
I have always applied that principle when I've started a business. So I always take quite a bit of time to research. If I'm looking at a new project or a new opportunity or something like that, I think the mistake a lot of people make is they get really excited and they jump in with both feet, but they just as fast they get out, right? Because they haven't really taken the time to look at, okay, is this for me? It's not a matter of how many people are making a lot of money.
That's right.
Does this fit my personality? Is this something that I can do? Is this something that I believe in? Because money will only motivate you for so long.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
There's got to be something else that drives you. So that's number one, is I've always taken quite a bit of time to look at, do I want to do this? And then when I make the decision to go, there's no looking back. It's not, and even when there are challenges, and there have been,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
there have been many, and it's not like everything that I've done has been successful. I've had some things that it just didn't pan out, and I didn't have a choice. I had to abandon it.
Right.
But I've also had a number of what I call home runs over the years, and the reason for those is what we're discussing here right now. I always took the time to research. When I made a decision, I went all out. There's no looking back. And the last piece of it is I always work with urgency. When I launch a new business, it is 90 days, 120 days, 6 months of all out massive action. I mean, it's like, I'm not a spring chicken anymore, so I can't go 18 hours a day like I used to. But it's like I said, there's no looking back. It's like it's from morning till late night. You're following your plan. You're making your contacts or whatever it is that your project requires. And then, like I said, every week, then I kind of adjust it and look at what it is. So the mindset is it right for me? If it is, let's go. And if we're going, then we're going all out.
All the way. You're going all the way.
It's not, hey, I'm going to talk to 2 people today and then I'll talk to 1 tomorrow. No. What can we fit in? 30 or 40 today and 30 or 40 tomorrow, or whatever it is, And I think those are probably the most important reasons that I've been able to do this, not once or twice, but several times over.
That is so powerful that you mentioned that, because I'm thinking as you're describing that, and I'm thinking about, like, if you ever seen Mark Zuckerberg's movie, The Social Network.
Yeah.
If you've seen Ray Kroc's story, I mean, anybody that has been super successful, whether it's in business, athletes, right, and even musicians, right, they actually did exactly what you're just describing. It was like, I'm gonna make this happen. It's not like, let me check it out. It's this, I'm gonna make this happen. But you said something very important, that people don't do the research.
Yeah.
They get excited, they think it's a good idea, and then they have to quit because they're doing the wrong thing. So you take your time to do your research, and then you stop. You don't let the analysis of paralysis, right, keep you in constant investigation mode. You take your time, you make a decision, then you go for it, and you're gonna make it happen. You're gonna solve any problem that comes your way. And the urgency also is very popular, because I believe we live in the age of distraction.
Absolutely.
I don't think ever in the history of mankind people have been more distracted than nowadays, right?
Right.
And we're giving away our power by setting up our phone, sometimes by default,
Right.
that every single notification is going to stop us, and you need to stop that if you want to be successful.
Right.
Because you can't be checking in everybody's messages on Facebook and build a business at the same time.
Right, and
Right?
I'm glad you bring that up, because there is what seems to have become a very popular phrase or statement, and that is the importance of multiple sources of income. And while I am a firm believer in that, I think a lot of people, they misunderstand that term. I personally have never seen anybody that successfully has built multiple sources of income simultaneously.
At the same time, me neither.
Right?
Exactly.
What I've seen is people, they build a very successful business, and they have gotten it to the point where it's either running almost on autopilot, or they have very little involvement with it. And then they may go over here and they get involved with real estate investment, or whatever it is that rocks their boat, right? And they will diversify and get involved with other things. That, absolutely, that makes total sense. So you don't have all your eggs in one basket. But this nonsense that I hear over and over and over again of people that are trying to build 2, 3, or 4 businesses at the same time, and they're failing in all of them, right?
Yeah, I call it a multiple source of distraction.
Absolutely.
Or a multiple source of outcome, right? Because in every business, you need to invest some money, and you need to invest your time and energy.
Yeah.
So how could you have 2 or 3 at the same time? And you know what I hear a lot is they say, oh, but they're not conflicting with each other.
Yeah.
Oh, but they're not conflicting with each other. And I said, well, how many hours do you have, right?
They're only conflicting with your energy.
They only conflicting with, you only have so many hours. So if you put 2 hours on this one, those are 2 hours you're not putting over there.
Yeah.
So that's very powerful.
And if you understand the law of attraction, which I know you do, and maybe that's a topic for another time, there is no way that you're going to attract the people that you need to build a successful business if you're scattered.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Absolutely. So urgency is another key factor because, like you said, so many times people they say, "Well, I'm gonna go for it," right? But they don't have the urgency. And I learned this many years ago. Somebody shared with me. They said, "There's two ways to build a business: fast and easy, or slow and painful."
That's right.
Right? In other words, when it's slow, it's actually painful,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But when you do it fast, what you do is you compress the activity level, right?
Absolutely.
Then magic starts happening.
Yeah.
So in other words, what is the like Jim Rohn talks about the law of averages,
Yeah, absolutely.
right? The law of averages is start working in your favor when you have urgency and you take more
Yeah.
action in a compressed period of time. Have you found that to be true?
Absolutely. And momentum is a very elusive thing. It's like when you don't have it, it's difficult to create, right? I mean, it takes a lot of time and effort. It's the age-old thing of, when a jumbo jet takes off the runway, it uses 99% of its power getting off the
At the
ground.
beginning, exactly.
And once it's in the air, it's basically coasting,
Yes.
right? Well, the challenge is the 80%ers, they want to be coasting from day one.
It doesn't work like that.
And that's
right?
why they never get it off the ground.
Yeah.
So that is very, very important for sure.
Yeah, I like it when people say, I like to have my own business so I can wake up whenever I want. I said, well, you gotta wake up whenever you want after you build the business,
That's right.
not before, right?
That's right.
So if people want to contact you, how they can get to know you, or how they can reach you, or any last advice you have for people?
I mean, you can look me up on Facebook, Kim Simsby, and
And you can read his name right here.
yeah, and that's usually the best way to just reach out to me, send me a message, and if there's anything I can do to assist you, let me know.
And if Denmark moves to the next stage, you celebrate with him. If Uruguay moves to the next stage, you celebrate with me.
That's
So
right.
thank you, Kim, for being here today. It's been a blast. I hope you took notes. I hope you start taking action. I hope you start reviewing your action because we want to interview you when you start manifesting your dreams. So we'll see you next week. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Pablo.
It's been fantastic. Thank you very much. Go and make it happen.